Oh, Auntie, she's
Well,
looking at
really,
you.
really, I am looking at somebody.
It's our favorite duo. It's our favorite duo.
But no, for real though, I'm just here to have a good time. Just, yeah, get some vibes. And in terms of my relationship status, I am single, doing interviews, not just going for anybody. Yeah, that's how it is.
Auntie Jenny here, 54. I'm here to cut out the bullshit. Simple.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Thank you guys.
Bet you do.
Yeah, well, you have to cut the bullshit. That's the problem with the world today. It's too much bullshit.
And they're not direct. If they've got something to say to you, just say it.
Why are you being mean already?
I don't really care. If you've got something to say, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. Just say it.
So
'Cause
basically,
if I've got
I'll
something
say
to
it.
say, just say it.
Hey,
Just say it.
Hey, Auntie, I
Yeah.
beg, give the girl a chance to speak now and relax.
What girl? What have I said?
This one.
What have I said?
I'm addressing the
What
elephant in
have
the
I
room,
said?
innit?
Listen, I don't believe in no elephants in the
give
room.
yourself an
If there's
answer.
something to say, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. If you've got something to say to me, I am here. Talk to my face. There should be no elephant in the room because this ain't no zoo. You understand? So if you've got something to say, just say it. We're all big. No, I'm just saying. We're just all big people here. So if I want to say something to you, I'm going to say something to you straight like I normally do.
Yes.
If I've got something to say to Esther, I'm going to tell Esther. Whether she likes it or not, I don't really care. Andrew Tate, my son's older than him, so I don't give a damn who he is. I'm going to just say what I've got to say. So whoever don't like it, that's tough. Don't...
You missed out Brittany. I feel picked on.
Okay, so
And Brittany too, right? Even Pearl too. Feel better now?
yeah, Auntie gave me Auntie was yelling at me in wife school the other day. So she doesn't give a shit. Okay, so my first question is, what is the #1 problem facing men today, and what is the #1 problem facing women today?
say something.
Come on, ladies.
Everybody's
Everybody's
gonna
going to educate me.
The number one problem.
All the questions. Come on, tell
The
me.
number one problem with men is that they don't tell women the truth, and the number one problem with women is that they can't handle the truth. Simple.
That's a good paradigm to start from, because it's actually very interesting you say that. A lot of women say, I just want a man who's honest. And then the second you're honest, she's like, what? You did what? It's like, well, then don't ask me for honesty. Of course I fucking lied.
Thank you.
So that's a good point. I agree with that one. I don't think it's the biggest problem, but it certainly is a problem in relationships today. That is a problem. The biggest problem with men today is that I think the world is becoming hyper-competitive. Most men are not aware and understanding of how quickly there's going to be a genuine shift in between those who have things and those who do not have things. Not just finances, but also female status, everything else. And it's a status game, right? And it's becoming harder and harder for men to play. And that's all women's fault, of course. Because women choose the winners, right? Women choose who the high-status males are. So women pretend to give a shit about men. Of course they don't. They give a shit about themselves. And a woman, if you ask her what she wants from a man, she's like, I don't want much. I just want to find a nice man who's a millionaire and 6 foot tall and funny and charismatic and interesting and spontaneous and looks after me and doesn't cheat. And it's funny and good looking and strong. I don't want much. Like, they name all this shit that most dudes are never going to have. And it's becoming harder and harder, and you end up with people, top G's, who own everything on the planet they could ever possibly wish for, and then you've got other guys who have nothing, and there's this large divide, there's no longer any middle ground. You have dudes that can't get any pussy, and then you've got dudes who are just blocking girls left, right, and center. And that's what the problem with being a man is today.
What about the women?
Well,
I would say, everybody's got a chance to talk.
I'm going to shut up and have my Clementine.
No, I want to know. I want to learn from you, sir.
You want to learn from me?
Well, I wanted to answer. I feel like it goes for both. It's not just one or the other. I feel like it's self-accountability.
You know you belong. I'm being clear.
Why just women though? What about men?
It's
yeah,
both.
it's definitely both.
It is both. You're right. But society punishes men for not being self-accountable. But society does not punish women for not being self-accountable. I'll give you an example. If you're a man and you're arrogant and you think you're something when you're not, trust me, society will teach you very quickly that you don't matter when you don't get laid and you stay a fucking brokey. If you're a chick and think you're something when you're not, you can run around with your ego, still get dates, still get laid, still have a fairly sensible social life. Society as a whole doesn't come along and slap you in the face with realizations. If you're a man and you think you're something you're not, it is a ticking time bomb until society teaches you a lesson. That's the difference. This is why men, in general, are more self-accountable, because the men who are not self-accountable get fucked up. So those who are successful are very self-accountable people. They look at themselves and go, okay, the only way I'm going to get and progress further, the reason she left me, the only way I'm going to do better, make more money, etc., is I have to change. Most women don't want to do that. They don't sit and think, I have to change. They think, oh, he left me because it's him, and I lost my job because of my boss, and this is this because of this. No, you women don't look in the mirror and change a fucking thing.
Don't forget what you're forgetting right nowadays. They can't change it because it's all about body positivity.
They
can look sexy at a size 28.
Are you saying Lizzo's not a 10?
You guys trying to get me canceled.
See, I'm not gonna lie, I don't agree with what you just said, because 90% of cosmetic surgery is by women. Women are trying to change as much as possible. Men don't want to change. They're not accountable for themselves. They think that because they're a man, you're gonna be attracted to them. No. Like, you can't be fat, you stay at home, you're just playing video games, and you expect a woman to want to fuck you. No, she's not going to want to fuck you.
Yeah, but then she won't. This is the point. And then she won't, and society will teach them a lesson. They might be able to pull off a little blag with a girl for a year or so, but in general, they're going to end up lonely. In general, they're going to struggle to find partners. I agree with you with the cosmetic surgery thing. Women are happy to change their appearance and change how they look, but they're not happy to change how they act. Most of them, they're not happy to change. No, they're not.
The women are changing what the men don't care about. The men don't care about the big old lips.
Yes, they do.
And no, they do it. The women are doing that for themselves because the men don't care about it. The men would rather a woman change her stinking attitude than put on all that makeup and hair and everything. That's what the men want. But the women go out there like, oh, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that. If you look at a man and the man said, yeah, he's fat. The man almost, if he's feeling bad about himself, he wants to make sense. He'll go and hit the gym. What's the woman going to do? Go and do? Get a BBL, get her lips done, put on her makeup, put on her hair, and stay the big old fat person that she is and say, oh, it's body positivity. The men don't even want that. And that's, the women are not getting all this cosmetic surgery for the men. They're getting it for themselves. You can't turn around. What man wants What's a woman that's going to turn around, go and have an operation, and can't sit on a plane because her arse has been injected or been interfered with? She got a cancer on her stomach. You think the men want that? Or wake up in the morning before you got to hit the house, she's got to put on. I'm sure I'm worried about some of the men because they must go out with a woman. And then when they wake up in the morning, they think, who the hell is she? By the time you take everything off, women need to change their attitude before they change their makeup. I'm sure that even more than that, change your attitude. Because women will go out there and they want to change this, or want to change that. All the things that don't count. If you learn to, the same way how women can go out there and learn to put makeup on, learn to cook, learn to wash by hand, learn to please the man.
That is so outdated,
That's what you need to do.
That's outdated, girl. That's outdated.
She's right.
For who?
I'm saying it's like we had literally just talked about this off camera when you guys came up with.
At your service.
we were talking about, oh, what's the value system or the point system for a woman who cooks versus a woman who can suck good dick and fuck well.
But you can cook and suck dick as well.
No, but I'm saying is that Pearl, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but quoting her was that when she interviewed people on the street, that there was more points given to something like a sexual return as opposed to, oh, wash dishes by hand, there's a dishwasher. Why cook? We can eat out. There's a chef. People don't give a fuck about that.
That's what they think.
But we literally just talked about this yesterday.
No, it was okay. I did a street interview and I asked the guys, would you rather have a girl that gave good head or a good I think that's more for like a one night stand.
But what I'm trying to say is that if all the women out there and they're talking about, well, some of the women want to be settled down, they want a man. Right? And you've got to think what the man wants. The man ain't interested in that. Look at, when you're doing street interviews, you're interviewing single people. Look at the people there that are happily married and ask them what they do. Because all the things that the women out there are doing, you can be a housewife, you can be going out, you can suck head just as good as any old tramp on the street. And keep your man, and have a man. And I can say that because I'm 32 years in counting.
Auntie, you can't say attraction's not important though. You can't say attraction is not important though.
It is important.
For you to get initially, exactly. A man is not going to find you attractive and then think, oh, because you can cook well. It's got a chef.
A man's going to find you attractive and he's
okay, let's ask Andrew.
Andrew, would you be with a girl that's 5 out of 10 because she can cook?
That's what I said.
Well, firstly, that's not what she said, to be fair. And secondly, I'd be with a 10 out of 10 who can cook, because I'm top G. But, to make the point, I think what you have to understand is what men are looking for in a relationship. So, you did the street interview, and you're asking single people, probably young people, probably idiots who know they're on camera talking shit about good head, all this garbage. It's bullshit. What men are interested in life, not just in their relationship, but in their life as a whole, is status. I don't think most people understand, especially women, how competitive the male world is and how competitive it is for status. This is why men do everything they do. Men buy the faster car, not to drive me faster, because of status. It's why we want a bigger house. We don't give a shit where we live, it's because of status. It's why I want to go to the gym and get big and strong, because of status. Everything we do is about status. It's why I want the better job, so I want more money, so I want to be respected. So what's the number one thing we want our female to give us? Status. That's what we want. So she can give us status by being beautiful. That's one thing she can do. But another thing she could do is if I turn up home and I come home with my boys and she says, I'll cook you all a steak. That's status. That's all my boys going, Ross, you just been out all night and she's here and she's going to cook for all of us and she'll clean up and tidy up. Boom. That's the kind of girl a man's not going to want to lose because it makes him look good. That's what men want. Status. Suck a dick, blah, blah, blah. Listen, dick can only be sucked in so many ways. I mean, let's be serious about this.
Have you had the Gok 3000?
No, this is actually a serious point, right? This is a very serious point because the Western world has collapsed in real time and it's a failed society. And one of the reasons it's a failed society is because of the over-sexualization, especially of females as a whole. If a woman comes up to me and goes, I'll be the best sex you ever had, I am fucking revolted. I don't want the best sex I've ever had. I want you to be pure and a virgin. You shouldn't know what sex is. Cook my fucking dinner. Shut up. Don't come and talk to me about fucking sucking dick. It's vile. It's disgusting. I don't want to hear that shit.
Can I say something?
I don't want to hear that shit. What I want is a woman who makes me look good. No woman who's running around talking about sucking dick can make me look good. So I lose interest completely and utterly, and that's the truth. So what she's saying is completely correct. These are old school things, but it's not about the act. Yes, you can order food, of course. It's about the status that comes with it. That's what it's about.
Sagittarius, spoken like a true one. That is true.
My man's a Sagittarius.
Listen, well,
my man's a Sagittarius.
So basically, it's a straight shooting sort of conversation. But I think that sometimes we get distracted and we talk about the bicker between men and women. I think that the problem that men and women have is the consequences of the bad decisions that the 1% of powerful men make on our behalf, because our problems are on a societal level less than between woman and man. That is why there's a lot of competition between men, this chase for status that they will never get.
Why is that the fault of the 1% of men?
Because they're the ones that drive the machine that runs things.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, but then think about the men that are at the top now, the corruption and everything that's going on. And this is why it feels very good to sit next to somebody like you and just say, do you know what? I appreciate that you say things that are really true. You expose a very toxic truth and a very true truth as well that is out there. But the reality is, on the trenches, when you go to the grassroots, people don't feel the way that you feel. It's not as simple as what you say. They are victims of this system. So my job here is really not to try and make it about men and women. It's to make you understand that actually we need to start changing the narrative.
You don't want to make it about men and women.
They're both messed up on either side.
Because then women look bad.
No, because it's about everybody together. Women have their traumas, men have their traumas. I'm not here to fight against men and women. That's small.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But the idea that this 1% of men have created this terrible society. Yeah, I talk about that. I talk about the Matrix. I talk about these things. But it's always been this way. It's always been a small elite group of men who are in charge of things. And unfortunately now we're fighting battles in different the days of old, a man proved his worth by going to war. Basically, every man at any point in his life was going to end up going to war, and he came back victorious. He came back with honor. He got himself. That's how it was, right? Now men don't have to go to war as much, depending on where you live in the world, and it's slightly different. And we fight our wars in other ways. And one of the big expressions of testosterone is trying to express your ability and your compatibility now in the modern world is power and influence. So in the olden days, you go to war, you come back with a ribbon. Nowadays, you got X amount of followers, you can move the world with money. I can bend reality with money. Please understand, if I walk into Jimmy Choo, they lock the door. No brokies allowed in. Take's here. And I buy what the fuck I want. There's lines outside because I'm there. I bend the world with money. That's how the wars are now won. So you're talking about high status males. It's always been that way. Now you have a whole contingent of men who aren't dead. Okay, they didn't die in a ditch, but they're lonely as fuck jerking off. And that's the reality of it. And women don't give a fuck about them. And why should you? I'm not sitting here actually shitting on women in any way. I think women have a biological instinct to a degree to try and find the best mate they can because it gives them the highest chance of survival in the harsh realities of the world. And if they look at a man who's not capable, they just don't feel an attraction to him. And that's the bottom line of it. And that's why I'm largely misunderstood. I don't blame women for a lot of the problems. Women are guilty of certain things, but I have a massive amount of blame to place on men. Because there's so many men who are genuinely incompetent. I was a chick, I wouldn't fuck these losers either. But they're losers, so it's hard.
Balance! I love it.
I don't understand why people always go for the 1%. All the women want to rush for the 1%. Why can't you find a regular 9 to 5 person? Why can't you just do that? Why is everybody rushing? I've got a man, we don't go on social media. Everyone work for Pearl, no about social media. 9 to 5 on the 32 years, happy as Larry. What is the problem? It's not fashion, it works.
No, Auntie, let me clarify. When I meant 1% is not the 1% of attraction. I mean the actual people that are in charge of the things that run the world.
What I'm trying to say is that it's always been an umbrella we've lived under.
But
and then the functions underneath it. So why is it going to affect me?
I'll explain why. Because as Sir Mr. Andrew King Tate said, thank you. I'll have this one after this point. It is. I've been drinking lime juice as well. So, as he very rightly said, society has now evolved. Before men went to war, now men don't go to war. So there's a lot of sense of no purpose that they need to find. And then on the women's side is that the same way that society evolved, they make men feel less purpose. They have now had to take on bigger purposes. They have to go to work that they didn't have to do before. They have to take on some hour and do all of these things and now deal with the fact that men are feeling a little bit like, you
get a 9 to 5 person, right? What is wrong with you going out there, find a regular 9 to 5 person, right? You can function underneath that, because I've always seen the women say, oh, we ain't got enough money, we ain't got enough money. Work with what the man's got.
You're right.
Work with what the man's got. You can make a man your alpha. Everybody wants to go and find these top earning money. Find a 9 to 5, work regular, save your money, learn to cook and not have takeout, and then save your money as they did before.
Then you should direct this to the men that feel upset because they're not like us today.
She's completely right. I'll tell you this. There's not a girl on the planet today who couldn't walk outside and find a man who's going to be nice to her, loyal to her, and make her his queen. Women don't want that. So they'll sit there and go, no, I want Chris Brown. And then they'll Chris Brown. Then Chris Brown will cheat. And they'll be like, I can't believe he cheated. I'm devastated. Well, what the fuck do you think's going to happen? If I go to the car garage, right, you have to make a decision what you truly want in your life. If you truly want to just find a man who's going to look after you, take care of you, and be loyal, you can find that all day, but you're going to have to settle to a degree where a lot of women perhaps are not prepared to do that. You see how women act. They'd rather chase a fraction of a real G's time than have 100% of the time of a fucking dude who they don't respect at that level. And it's kind of like going to a car dealership. You walk in there, if you want reliability, you can get a Nissan. But if you want to get a Ferrari, it comes with headaches. It's going to come with problems. So a girl saying to me, oh, you know what, Andrew, you should be loyal to it. Men like me don't have to be. And you know that. So why the fuck are you here trying to tell me what to do? Because you know I don't have to be loyal. And all the girls on fucking don't have to be loyal. So why are you sitting there pretending you expected me to be loyal when everyone knew from ground up day one it was never going to ever fucking happen? And you're still here. And you're still testing.
They're going to be the ones that changes you.
That's the biggest mistake they don't make.
Whose fault is it? This is the female decision. They sit there and decide, no, I want this. It's cool, then you're going to have to accept it. He's going to be loyal to you. He's barely going to respect you. That's the case.
You like being cheated? I swear to God, this show has made me believe. I think women like to be cheated on.
I don't.
I swear to God, no, because all y'all ever talk about is your exes that cheated on you. That's all y'all ever talk about. And it's like that's
the regular women that run it.
Good thing I'm a regular extraordinaire.
But do you not think it's because we're not holding men accountable? So when a man who's a top G cheats on a woman, it's like, well, what do you expect? When you should actually turn around to him and
Accountable
say,
for what? Accountable for his natural evolutionary biology.
Is cheating morally correct?
Yes.
Depends.
Yes.
How can you say that? Are you joking?
Okay with your woman cheating on you then?
Absolutely not. That's a wrap.
No, because
it's a wrap when she cheats on you, but you can cheat on her.
There has not been, in the history of humanity, across any culture, any book, any story, any fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect put on the name of a promiscuous female, ever. Ever. You name the biggest conquerors that you can possibly name from history. Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of them. They all had 100 wives, bunch of children, big G, conquered the world. Normal. That is normal evolutionary biology. That's how men are designed to be. There's never been a single female who's been celebrated for her promiscuity ever in history. It's always been frowned upon and disgusting. So yes, we are completely and utterly different. Yes, it's different if a woman cheats on a man. And if a man is at a complete top level of his life and ticks every single box, and if he decides to be loyal, which some do, and I can be loyal, and I have been loyal, but there's also times in my life where I think, fuck it, I don't want to be, and get a new girlfriend every single day of the week. I can do that, and I can decide to do that. If a woman decides to do the same, purely because her value is high enough to attract so many males, because she's beautiful, for example, it is completely different. I'm going to explain to you why it's completely different, so buckle up. It's different. It's different. It's different. Well, I'll tell you why. It is impossible for a female to be promiscuous on a long enough period of time without devaluing herself, because she is fucking people she shouldn't be fucking. There's no way she is sleeping with endless men, and all of them are either high-value men or treating her the way she should be treated. If you find a woman who slept with 50, 100 dudes, she's either fucking dudes which aren't at her level or haven't worked hard enough to try and get the pussy. She was just too drunk to realize she's a loser playing video games. Or she's fucking a top G who barely taps her back. So either way, she's fucking dudes she shouldn't be fucking, or a guy who's at the level who doesn't give her the right amount of attention. For a woman to find a guy who's truly on a level, who truly treats her the way she should be treated, that's once every couple years, if that. You ain't just gonna go out there fucking a new dude every week and say, yeah, he's worth pussy. Yeah, he treats me good enough to get my pussy. Da, da, da. And you know what's funny about the universe? It's actually beautiful about the universe because it's equal and opposite forces. When you devalue yourself, it's kind of like men can smell it on you. They can just look at a bitch and go, oh. And that's the way it works. So you have to be very careful as a female and sit and go, does this man truly deserve to fuck me? And if you think about it, the answer 99% of the time, especially if you're promiscuous, is no. So when a woman is sleeping around with all these men, she's devaluing herself. She's devaluing herself, and the world knows, God knows, the universe knows. When a man does it, he doesn't devalue himself at all. That's just the way it works.
Can I ask you a question? Wait, Esther, 1 second. Sir, may I ask you a question? What would you say if a woman now is married to 2 men?
Haram.
Why?
No, I'll tell you why. Let's talk about this. What is the difference between a man, let's say me, I have 4 wives, right? What's the difference between a man having 4 wives and a woman having 4 men?
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time.
You can impregnate the 4 wives at the same time, and we know who the parents are, right? So let's say you had 4 pregnancies, you know who the mother is because she's carrying the baby, and you know who the dad is. If you had a woman with 4 men and she gets pregnant, who's the parents?
What about if?
Who knows? I'm asking.
Okay, I asked, what if they're different races?
Answer the question. Answer the question.
You don't know. Now, modern science can come along and maybe fix that for you, but that doesn't mean it's not wrong in the eyes of God. The idea of having a family, the idea of a child being born, one of the baselines for a new life to come on this planet is for at least to understand who the 2 people who made it are. Nice. People fucking 4 dudes.
Several arguments will encourage sputum-based rebellion. Of course not, I would never. But you can't know, right? Rest assured, I will eat privately from my own stalls from now on.
Whose idea was that then?
Mine.
You don't even know who got her pregnant.
So may I just say,
disgusting.
Have you seen the twins that had 2 different dads?
Oh yeah, I saw that. May I just say something then? So if that is the case, yeah, if the one thing that you're meant to have is you at least you know who the 2 people that put that child on earth are, then that's why promiscuity for men is also a problem, because they get women pregnant sometimes they don't even know they have children. That's a rat, no?
No, it's completely different. It's different because you have to understand, I'm talking about humans. You look at humans from a societal perspective, but society has changed, right? So let's say 200-300 years ago, if a woman got pregnant, she needed a man to survive. If that man didn't take care of her during pregnancy, she was going to die. She couldn't work a job, she couldn't hunt, couldn't fish, whatever, right? A woman literally needed that man for survival. So if you were to come to me and say I'm pregnant, but you've been fucked by 4 different dudes, I'd be like, who says it's mine? Why am I looking after you? None of them want to look after her. She will literally perish. This is why in most of the world today, still today, virginity is so coveted, and throughout all of history it's been so coveted, because that's the only way to ensure paternity. She's a virgin, I know that's my baby. She ain't a virgin, prove it's mine. Outside of this modern science bullshit, Shaitan, the devil we have here in the West, in most of the world today, without virginity, or at least a low body count, or at least anti-promiscuity, you can't tell that that's your baby. So it's a completely different thing. You're looking at the idea of a woman being pregnant and coming to a group of men saying, one of you has to take care of me and put up with me when I'm fat and moody and annoying and I need my bills paid. And all the men are going to sit there and go, no, fuck no, prove it's mine. You can't prove it, bounce. Where it's different. If I get 4 women pregnant, we know the deal.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So obviously back then for survival, women needed a man. Otherwise, when they were pregnant, could die and all of these things, they would perish. In today's society, given evolution, given the fact that as women we can go and get, yeah, but I'm not saying that. Isn't there a glitch between what is actually happening and the nature of what we have in our bodies? I think that's probably the conflict that we're having right now.
Glitch in what way?
In the sense that women don't feel like they need men in the most physical sense, perhaps like
right.
naturally.
It's very interesting. Women don't feel like they need men in a physical sense because life is soft, but it's bullshit. And it's bullshit because you still need men by proxy, 1, and 2, the second life gets difficult, you very quickly learn how much you need men. But women will go, I'm independent, I don't need no man because I have an OnlyFans and men pay my OnlyFans, and if anyone comes up to me, I'll call a male police officer. I don't need men. Shut up, you fucking idiot. Of course you do. You just named your whole life is based on fucking men. The road you're driving on was paved by a man. The house you're living in was built by a man. The car you're driving was designed by a man. Your whole life depends on men. And the second anything bad were to happen to you, the second you were physically threatened, or times were to get hard, or war were to start, or famine, or riots, the first thing you do is find a big strong man, shit yourself, and throw the feminism out the window. Feminism goes out the fucking window the second that the snow needs shoveling, or there's a fucking broken down car, or the tire needs changing. Then all that crap vanishes. It's garbage. And this is the very interesting thing. I'll make a point here, which is going to get me canceled again, but I don't give a fuck. But this is the point. Feminism in and of itself can't be defended. The point of an idea is that it can be defended by the people who believe in it. This is the whole point of war since the dawn of time. It doesn't matter if it was the Christians against the Hindus, it doesn't matter if it was the Germans against the French. There were people who had ideas and ideologies and they were prepared to fight each other to defend their ideology. Feminism is an ideology which cannot be defended by feminists. The only people who can defend feminism are the men who subscribe to the garbage. If all the feminists were to get in a line and say, we want feminism, and the conservative men were to get in a line, you would learn very quickly it's bullshit. I had a friend in Afghanistan when Taliban kicked America out. And he told me, the Americans were telling the girls they could go to school. So they built all these girls' schools, and they put the Afghanistani Defense Forces there, and they funded the Afghanistan Defense Forces to protect these schools. You had American satellites, you had night vision goggles. Taliban were afraid to attack. America leaves, now you have Afghani Defense Forces, they're basically blind. They don't have satellites anymore, don't have night vision, whatever. So now it's a real war. The men are standing next to this girls' school, the Taliban are coming. You're some dude, you're standing there, you're looking at this girls' school going, I don't really give a fuck if girls go to school. Bounce. And you didn't fight. So that's why they all gave up and Taliban took over so quickly. And when I said this, the girls like, yeah, they should have fought for us, feminism. Why don't the women fight?
Can I ask?
Oh, like the women can't defend their own fucking idea. You need men to defend feminism. So that's why the whole thing is stupid. So the second men don't defend it, it just fails as a fucking ideology. It's garbage.
May I tell you something now? So this is the thing. This is when we assume that women perhaps don't have the physical or even mental ability to go to a war. Wait, because this is the thing. For example, in Ukraine, a lot of women took up arms. And in fact, I'm Angolan. I'm Angolan. Wait, I'm Angolan. And
don't lie.
Listen.
To people out.
Wait, no worries. I'll talk about my personal story. Let me tell you something. This is the thing. I think it's also really silly to assume that, for example, a woman, because she didn't go to school, she'll not be as intelligent as a man. Therefore, naturally, a woman is not intelligent. No, it doesn't make sense. If we're not starting to normalize equality and we want to put everybody in the forefront, give a woman a gun.
Who's normalizing equality?
Well, that's what people are wanting. Then that's the case. Let me tell you, Auntie.
Who wants to normalize equality? people like, oh, feminists. Who else wants to...
I want, well, actually, no equality. I want respect. That's really nice.
What's stopping you from getting respect?
No,
I get respect.
I get respect. I get respect.
So,
that's
you
what I
just
want.
said
That's
you
what I
want
like.
respect.
What I think is...
You don't even know what you want.
I'll tell you what I want.
You don't know what you want. You want
as a woman, I carry myself differently. I actually hold the things that I've done in the fights that I fought. I hold it. That's why when you speak to me, I don't move different. I move different to many of the girls. That's why when you talk to me and you argue with me, I don't take it. You do sometimes. And I'll tell you something. A lot of women may have the accolades to be somebody, but they are uncomfortable to own that. And the reason why, then I would like to ask you, for example, I do need a man, for example, to, you know, procreate. But other than that, I'm quite strong, and I would find a way to protect myself differently. With that mentality, what would be the man that would be cool then?
Danella, what would you do if one of these security guards broke into your door?
What would I do? Okay, I'll tell you.
What would you do?
I'll tell you. No, I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I'm a bit smarter.
Okay.
Either actually, yeah, one. Yeah.
Okay, they see you're not dead.
It's okay. No, I mean, and then if not, maybe I would kind of like be very gentle and comply to find a way to get out of it. If they want to come and kill me, there's not much so many people can do.
You're talking about equality and respect. The way you give respect to a woman is by being feminine. There's nothing, we can be equal and very, very different. I'm not saying that where there's no equality, you've confused equality with the same. You can be equal with completely different things. You can have a bishop and a knight on a chessboard. They're equal in terms of points, but they do different things, right? A woman can have equal respect to a man if she is very good at being a woman, and a man gets respect for being very good at being a man. When a woman decides she wants...
life as a woman and not need a man.
What's a woman?
What a useful insight.
Oh, Pearl, stop.
Like in my day-to-day life, I don't need a man to fix my car. I'll just go to the mechanic.
But listen, right?
But is the mechanic a man or a woman?
No, I'm saying yes, we need men in society, but in relationship, the only reason I actually need you is because I want you. I don't actually need you.
Do you know what?
I need you to procreate. Yes, I agree. But the thing is, I don't need you in my day-to-day life.
What if someone breaks into your house?
I'll just call the police.
Okay, what if they don't come? What if the average in the U.S. it takes like 15 in the U.S. it takes like 15 minutes for them to get there.
But that's not realistic. That doesn't happen on a day-to-day life.
These two guys in your house, what are you doing?
But that's not realistic. I've not had any man break into my house on a day-to-day. It doesn't happen.
The point is,
so let's be realistic now.
I know what you're saying, but the point is this. The point is, when we're talking about feminism as a whole demonizes men. And you just sat and said, besides procreation, I don't need a man in my life. I can go to a male mechanic or call a male police officer. They're men. So
in society, you are needed. I agree.
Okay,
of course, we need you.
Of course. So you're talking about being with a man because you want to. So my question to you is, why would you want to be with a man?
Why would a man want to be with you?
Because they're sexy.
Like, obviously, because of the I don't need to talk about men. Sorry, I love men. No, I love dick.
We don't like it, but it's not all about dick. What I'm trying to say is, in a good relationship, right, one that works, there's blue jobs and there's pink jobs. Right, and that's the problem that women have got. Oh, gee. They don't want to be doing no pink jobs.
But that's not what we're talking
about.
We're talking about relationships. Why do you need a man in a relationship? Because you want a partner.
Companionship, friendship, romantic love, things that you can't get by yourself.
It's like you want to go on dates with him. It's all about, I need someone to fix my car. Like, go to a mechanic. You're not safe. Call the police. Like,
Wait, what about a father to your kids? You don't think
exactly. I definitely want that. These are stuff. This is the reason why you need a man. I agree.
Wait. It's not that you want it. You need it.
I agree. And these are the stuff that I need in a man. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's not like I completely need you. But
the whole point is if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need a man.
In society,
why do we have like women that don't
I'm saying if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need someone to protect you. You
yes,
would.
Of course. Society, not my boyfriend. I thought my exes can't even do anything.
That's actually another problem. A lot of men can't do much.
You know what I mean?
Not everybody is strong.
In this day and age, guys can't even fit a tire.
You cannot.
Not true, my sister.
But I can cook. And the thing is, I'm not even. Listen, I'm not even saying.
Guys.
Can I just say something?
You have to do one at a time.
Can I just say something? This is why You can't blame all men for your poor choices. You can't say, I'm talking to both of you because you're saying, yeah, my man can't do this, my man can't do that. What, and you want to settle down. Why would you go and choose a man that can't do these things that you wanted them to do? Because my man could do all the blue jobs.
I need a man.
Because most men grow up with a PlayStation instead. Most men grow up with a PlayStation and porn and things like that. No, that's the truth.
It's not.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself.
That's something you
Listen,
I don't need a mechanic for my boyfriend.
You know what?
I need a father to my children. I don't need.
You know something, right? She needs a
police officer.
She needs a father for her children, right?
Yeah.
So she's gonna go out there, right? And you're gonna buy your child an electric car. You're gonna go and buy your child a bicycle. Who the hell's gonna put on the bicycle and fix the electric car? Who's gonna do it?
You go on YouTube. I know how to do these things. I fix the Bentley before.
Why do you fix the Bentley? And you can do everything yourself. Go and get some sperm donor or something because you obviously don't need a man.
That's the future, I think,
and the thing is, that's the future for who?
No,
that's the problem.
society.
Because at the end of the day, right,
what year are you living in? What year are you living in?
Because
Let
me finish talking, right? Now, you got a man, right? And you've been busy all day, right? And you're in your bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. And your man comes in with all of his friends and said, oh, babes, all the friends are here. They're hungry. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll cook for my man. I'm a traditional woman in that aspect. I love to cook for my man.
Why is it that when people start cooking, they think that cooking is traditional? It's everything. It's not just about cooking. They always say, I cook for my man, so I'm traditional.
I have a question. Wait. I have a question. Are you virgin? You're traditionally a virgin.
Are you a virgin?
I said in that aspect. I'm not going to comment on me being a virgin or not, but what I'm going to say is every human being should be able to cook.
She's a hybrid of tradition and modernization.
You know, I need to cook to survive.
Can I ask Mr. Tate something, right? I'm going to ask you something.
Sure.
Right, because I don't like bullshit, right? And like, there's not some people that I can't bear talking to, right? So I'm going to talk to him because so far he's talking sense.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Pick me.
Right. Who said pick me? Listen, who just said pick me?
They want me, don't look at me.
I said give him pick me. Give him because we were having a whole conversation.
Listen,
I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Mr.
Hang on a minute. I've been with my man for 32 years.
Clap for yourself.
32 years. I don't need to clap for myself because I'm happy. I'm not here. And what I was going to ask him, right, is how would you think a woman? Would you think that woman? Would you think that woman? Just calm down. I'm loud. I'm not sure you don't want to hear me shout. Anyway, Mr. Tate, like I was saying before we got rudely interrupted, right? Now, is this your idea of a woman that you think deserves a man? I am here, single, but I'm looking. I'm here. I'm like taking you. If you want to hook me up, let me know. And I just want anybody, but choose. How does that make you feel? What is that kind of woman that you think deserves a man?
Well, he's a top G. You can't be asking him this question.
But you talk about top G, isn't it?
We're mere mortals, Auntie.
Speak for yourself. I'm no mere mortal.
I'm a mere mortal in his presence.
Because nobody.
Come on now. Which kind of question be that?
Auntie, unlike you, we have options.
I'm a mere mortal.
Unlike you, we have options.
Everybody's 8.5.
Where's your ring?
Because I actually can choose. I'm not gonna man that I want to be with.
Okay, that's
well, I know your reality. I know your reality is you gonna beg a man to give you.
Hang on a minute. You said unlike you, I have options.
We have options. Yeah.
You're out here looking for a man. You're out here saying that you're looking for a man.
When I said I was looking for a man.
Oh my gosh, you was at the advertising when we done the introductions. That's what you said.
I said I was doing it.
That is what you said.
I didn't say I was going out looking for a man. I said I'm doing it.
Hang on a minute.
You come to me. I got to decide if I want you.
Mr. Tate, listen to this insult, right? Listen to the insult.
I'm not insulting you.
Hang on. Listen. What do you call it? Sign language. learning. Sign language. Right? Listen to what she just said to me. Unlike you, I have options. Fucking 32 years. You think I want options? I'm happy with my man.
You don't really have much options, though. Because the way
No, it's not pick me. Auntie, she meant clout. Wait. She meant Esther. I'm sure you didn't mean pick me. You meant clout chaser. Is that what it is?
It doesn't go with that. We can go with that too.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to clarify your problem. I was just saying.
Wait. I've totally lost it. Why would I want to have options when I've been in a happy relationship for 32 years?
No, clout chasers is fans.
It don't make no sense.
I just
You can monetize on YouTube with clout.
Why are you calling her a pick me when you were the one advertising at the beginning of the show?
I said I'm doing interviews. I wasn't advertising nothing.
It's banter.
Wait.
You guys understand what an interview means?
Okay.
What
All right.
She's being spicy, guys. Stop it.
Auntie had a question for Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
What was your question?
Oh, she asked already.
You didn't answer because everybody's too busy jumping in. Everybody's too busy jumping in. I already asked, but you're not too busy jumping in and being women.
He's
to be
patient.
listening. So
He's
now
ready to get
now
married.
you can all shut up and let him answer, innit?
I'll answer, yeah. So to go back to one of my earlier points, firstly, to make it clear in the disagreement, I agree with, of course, I think everyone knows who I agree with. But I do, because you know what it is, though? You know what's actually funny? The things that she's saying are common knowledge 20, 30 years ago. This is how the world functioned. This is how the whole world functioned. The things I say that somehow people believe are controversial are exactly the way the world functioned in like the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. All of the entire period of human history, men had a role of masculinity, women had a role of femininity, we worked as a team. Now the world's come along and they've destroyed and broken everything. And there's this new progressive think and this new generation of women who seem to believe that if we completely fuck it all up, it's going to end up better. And my argument to that is, listen, we went from walking around in fields in small nomadic groups to building cities, to building the pyramids, to going to the moon. We managed to go from a few thousand to billions of people, populate the entire planet, build canals, build skyscrapers, cities. All of this was done by a man being a man, woman being a woman, working together as a family.
And now it's destroyed.
Now they're going to come along and fuck it up.
If it's not
It's destroyed. It's been destroyed. Man has destroyed Earth. What are you talking about? It's been bad decisions from powerful men that got men to go to wars and for women to lose husbands. Men make decisions for war. Men kill men.
Please listen to me. Men built the earth. I'm not saying men are perfect, but the entire world that you're existing under was built by men.
Yeah, it's
all
true.
of it. So, and the point I'm making is now we're entering a world of new think. And that the problem with new think is it's not tested. I don't give a shit what anyone's opinion is. What I can state as a matter of fact is we had 5,000 years of history that tells us how the world works with X and Y together. We're now entering a new paradigm. There's no 5,000 years of history. So whatever you believe about how it's going to work or it's going to be better or worse, whatever, that's just you guessing. Everyone is guessing, right? So we're entering a brand new paradigm and everything's completely fucked up. The point you were making earlier, which is a fantastic one about if I pick a woman who's advertising, etc., men always, please keep this in mind, especially if you're a female. People always say, you know, the number of emails I get from girls that say you don't give enough girl game. I'll give you girl game right now. Your man wants status. That's what he wants. You need to find a way to make him look good to the world and to his friends.
So how do you do that?
I'll tell you. One of the ways a man can get status is to get the girl that no one can get. That's a very simple way, right? So
I said not ready to mingle. I did right.
Okay, no, but this is the truth, right? If I date a girl and she's perfect in every way, head to toe, and then I say, oh, I met this girl, yeah, she's this. Oh yeah, I took her for a date. Even if you didn't fuck her, did you fuck her? No, I just went for a date. So you went. The attraction goes from this to zero, done. And it may not for some men, because some men haven't got choices, but men like me who genuinely have unlimited options. We want complete exclusivity. That's what we're looking for, because that gives status. That's what you're looking for. So you have to be very careful as a female with all of your actions, all of your interactions with your boyfriend or when you're looking for a boyfriend, etc., and say, am I going to make my man look better by doing X or look worse? Simple things. I've had endless arguments about girls' nights out, right? Oh, you're insecure, da-da-da. It's not about insecure. I don't give a fuck if no man talks to you all night long. I don't care if you're going out and you're going to an all-girl club. I don't care. I know that when my boys say, oh, all the girls are going out, and I say, not my girl, she stays home. I look good. That's it. She stays home. She doesn't go out. She doesn't want to go out without me. That's status. It's not about the night out. It's about the status of being the man in the house. That's what a man wants. He wants respect. He wants to be the man of the house. I say she stays home. She stays home. Big G. Boom, boom. That's what we want.
Can I ask you something? What does the woman want in your eyes? What do you think? And what's the game you give for the boys?
I'm going to tell you, but before that, I need another Clementine, and I need to give half to our friend here, because she just rolled her eyes at me. And I'm perspicacious. I notice everything. She doesn't realize I'm a ninja. I detect these things. Even when I'm looking directly ahead, I can detect it. So I'm going to give her some of my Clementine, and she's going to feel better. So I'm going to get a Clementine. Would you like some Clementine, my dear?
I'm sure.
You want some Clementine?
I think for me, it's like...
I asked you a question. Would you
I would love some,
You want some Clementine?
Yeah.
We're going to hook it up.
Okay.
Clementine's coming. All right. Go on. Continue.
Okay. Well,
no, I mean, I just feel like this is definitely a different conversation for me because I'm very open-minded. I love hearing different perspective, and I do feel like this is a newer idea. Like you said, it was in the last 30, 40 years. This is a new concept. We don't know how it's going to end. I just know from like my experience, other women that I've met as well, it's like the reason for even like relationships why they're not lasting is because people don't want to put up with the disrespect. Like, even when you were talking about, like, oh, it's okay for me to cheat, but not for you. My thing is like, why not have transparency and have it be polygamous, polyamorous, whatever works for you? That's, like, to me, where it loses me with the traditional stuff.
I get it.
It's like, why can't we have transparency? If I sign up for that, cool.
So how does it, no man in a million years, let's all be realistic, right? No man in a million years is going to meet a girl he likes and go, I want to be polyamorous. Like, come on, that's gay. Let's cut this bullshit. So let's be realistic. How does a man show love to a woman?
Exclusivity.
Wrong. That is how
time, resources, and something else.
Time, resources. So that's a good way to start. So sexual exclusivity is how a female shows primarily that she's interested in a man. He's the only man who has sexual access to me because I can get pregnant, and this man is the only man who can do it. That's how it's done. A man, yes, I'm not saying all men can cheat. I'm not saying all men should cheat. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if I
one with the extra armor must lead the pack.
Baby. Hi, baby.
Truly love a woman, she won't sit there and go, he shows me his love because he doesn't fuck anyone else. She'll sit there and go, he shows me his love because my bills are paid, I'm in a Bentley, I fly private, I go to Dubai anytime I want, I have a Chanel bag, and I'm not talking about just money, I'm talking about resource and a lifestyle as a whole. This is not just me, this is the world and most of the world today. If you go to Moscow and you find a big G, a rich guy, right? He has his wife, she's pushing a Bentley, she has a kid, she's living in a mansion, whatever. When he goes to the club with his boys, you think he ain't with 19-year-old strippers? Of course he fucking is.
Can I ask
but
you?
she's just like, whatever, don't care, I'm the one who has the money, don't give a shit. So you have to sit there, and to a point you have to sit and analyze the difference when you're saying disrespect. If you're gonna go through life as a woman and say, I only care about the sexual exclusivity of my man, then what you're gonna end up doing is having a bunch of failed relationships and fucking loads of dudes. There has to get a point where you go, you know what, this guy ticks so many boxes. Once a year, twice a year, he's out with his boys, does some dumb shit. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't notice because my bills are paid, I'm looked after, I can tell he cares about me. If I have a problem, he's gonna fix it. He's ticked so many. That's the smart female move, as opposed to go, I don't care how good he is to me, he fucked that bitch once, so I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna get another man who I don't love who'll fuck another bitch anyway, and then I'll get another man who I don't love who'll fuck another bitch. It's an endless cycle of dumb shit.
Can I have a more mild example still?
Wait. I have a question. Is there ever cheating that's too far? Like, so if a guy cheats on a girl, is there ever a point where she...
Yeah, there's a lot of cheating. There's completely a lot of cheating.
So, like, if he knocks up another girl, would you do this?
All right. So, first things first, I'm a man of my word. I don't want anyone to think I'm a liar. So here's your Clementine.
Thank you.
And you peeled it. What a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman. Right. So, obviously, I'm not saying blatantly disrespect your woman, right? She's your woman. She's your queen. She's the most important thing in the world to you. She needs to be treated in a way...
Bitch. He's feeding all the girls in there. And they don't even realize it. They're eating right out of the palm of his fucking hand. Son of a bitch. Even if they don't like what he's saying. He's like, here you go, Clementine.
She feels that, right? But it's unfortunate because I keep tying back to this baseline point. But the reason I keep going back to this baseline point is to try and explain to everybody at home how simple the world can be if you go back to the baselines of it. Why do men cheat? Most women don't know. You'll see it done all the time. Why do men cheat? Oh, because they're just stupid. And why do men fuck girls uglier than their main chick? Why do men do all this stuff? Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Let's go back to the first thing I've been saying this whole time. Status. Yeah, that's my chick. She's home. Took this one home. Yeah, I got that one. She's chasing me. Status. But it's stupid to females. I get it. But that's the male world because sexual access is an easy indicator of status. So that's one of the reasons they do it, right? So you have to go back into the baseline of why men even cheat in the first place. I'm telling you, if you're a woman, the smartest thing you can do is look after your man, make him not want to cheat, be perfect. But there's going to be a time across a 20-year marriage you might just need to be a little bit blind. A little bit. Just a tiny bit. Just don't look at his phone. And you'll be cool. You'll be cool. Just make sure the bills are paid. He does his jobs to man.
What if you can pay your own bills, though?
But this is it. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm not saying allow this for some fucking Joe Schmo. I'm not saying let some fucking loser pick you up, lock you down, and go cheat on you.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if he's a G and he's doing enough of his other jobs. As for you saying, what if you can pay your own bills? Then what's the reality you face? Just like I described earlier, I'm going to decide that the thing that I prioritize above everything, above his resource, above the amount he cares for me. You've seen men cheat on a woman and then cry his eyes out trying to get that woman back. He still loves you. It's not the same as if you cheated. He loves you with all his heart. He'd die for you. He'd take a bullet for you, and he'd still fuck that bitch. Doesn't matter. It's a different game for men, right? So you're sitting there going, well, I'm going to prioritize his sexual exclusivity over all of his other attributes.
Venatori, they've been excavating. I take it breaking into darkspawn tunnels wasn't part of the plan.
If their plan is to be a thorn in our side, they're doing just fine.
You're just going to end up having endless failed relationships, fucking too many dudes, and then what's going to happen is your psychology is going to break, because females don't like to accept the fact that if you sleep with enough men and you get rid of the stigma around a new dick, your instant answer is constantly new dick. Ah, he didn't text me today, fuck it, someone else. Ah, he was rude to me, fuck it, I'll cheat. Ah, he was this, I'll get a new boyfriend. And then you end up just jumping on cock all day and you're fucking done. You need to, the reality is you have to come to a point where you get a guy and he ticks the boxes and you're like, you know what, I'm wifey, I'm on the Bentley, he does whatever he does, but my bills are paid. That's it.
When would you say when would you say it's too far? I'm just curious if there's a line that you would, like, if he spends money on another girl, if he, like, when does it?
Okay, that's a good question.
Another second question, do you think that men ever fall in love with side chicks?
Very good question. And this is a long and in-depth answer, but it's a good question. Let me peel my clementine. But no, but it's a good question. Where's too far? I think publicly disrespecting is too far. So like you'll notice. Let's take the Moscow G. All right, let's take an oligarch, billionaire from Moscow. He has his wife. He has the girls he's in the club with. The girls he's in the club with wouldn't fucking dare message his wife. They wouldn't dare step out of line. Like they know their place, right? So if there's a hierarchy and they know their place, that's one way of doing it. Spending money on a girl, certainly, yeah, because men show love primarily through our hard work. Not just through our resource, but through our hard work. If you take a man who's not particularly rich, he shows his wife love by getting up every day, going to work, 9 to 5, working his ass off, and paying those bills. That's how he shows love. That's why he does it, for his wife and his children. Most men are out here working bullshit jobs, carrying trash. They're doing that to show love. So giving money, yeah, that would be a far more scary indicator than just sex. Let me give you all an example. I don't know if you all know my history, but I used to run a webcam business a long time ago. Don't want to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. But I had a bunch of girls who used to sit online and talk to guys, and they had laptops, right? This is a long time ago. And I used to sit and say to some of the webcam girls, I'd say, this man who is sitting in and logging in every night and sending you money every day and telling you he's obsessed with you from the other side of the world and missing out on time with his family to sit here and talk to you and send you money, that is more cheating than if he just went out and banged something. If he went out and banged something and came home, then done. But he's sitting here giving you his time, his money, his affection. That's cheating for a man. For a man to sit there and give money and time for you, right? So you have to stop this idea of sexual exclusivity. Yes, that's for females. That's how females show their love to men. That's not how high status, at least males, show their love to females. And anyone who wants to disagree with me, call me wrong, call me misogynist, whatever bullshit, look at a history book. Every king, every sultan, every conqueror, every emperor, every knight, all of them had maidens, wives, all of them. That's history.
What level of G do you have to be allowed to cheat?
Well, it's not about even being allowed to cheat. I'm not even saying that. And it also depends on the partner you're with. I'm not trying to sit here and advocate for men to run around and fuck a bunch of women. I'm not saying that.
That's what you're doing.
No, but I'm not.
No. Let him explain. Let him land. He's about to come. Now, our sister, let him plan though.
No, but I'm not. What I'm actually trying to do is describe the baseline unfortunate realities of human dynamics. And I'm trying to explain now to the world that any woman can get a man who will not cheat on her if she's prepared to sacrifice a bunch of other things, perhaps, right? In the olden days, it was different. The world was a different place. It was a completely different place, and it was better. Now it's all fucked up. It's fucked up on every level. And men, especially the high status men, most of them have struggled so hard to become high status. They've been through so much shit to get where they are. It's like telling him, if you climb this mountain, you can go to a candy store. And he climbs to the top of the mountain, and the second he's in the candy store, after one piece of candy, that bitch is saying, no more candy. He's like, no, I just climbed this mountain. I just got rich. I just went through X, Y, Z. I finally got here. I'm finally in the candy store. Now you're telling me I can only have one piece of candy?
Okay.
Do you think that men owe a woman loyalty if she was there from the beginning?
Absolutely. They absolutely owe that woman loyalty.
Oh, sorry, sexual loyalty. That's what I meant.
Sexual exclusivity is different. Sexual exclusivity and loyalty are completely disconnected for males. Nobody wants to talk about this, but it's the unfortunate reality. It's true. I'm telling you, you can get a man, he can go on a holiday, can fuck some stripper, can come home, and you can lie detector test him. Do you love your wife? Would you die for your wife? Would you take a bullet for your wife? He'll pass the lie detector test. He loves her with all his heart. He'd do anything for her. It's just bullshit. It's not a big deal. It's different.
I feel like, I guess my question would be then is like, how do you view sex? Because I like, sex at the end of the day is spiritual unification. I feel like I've gone through a lot of different stuff. I've had a lot of different experiences where I did not value myself, so I never had a man that valued me. So it's like, yeah, you rack up guys and guys you shouldn't be texting back or whatever. But I feel like I understand that there is a difference with how men view sex and how they move around in the world. But it's like, sex is a sacred thing no matter a male or female is doing it. So that's why for me, like, my biggest, like, the hardest for me to understand is like, this is such a sacred thing, and it's just it's like taking a piss for a guy.
Can I just say something? You sure you weren't making love to somebody who was having sex?
I'm sorry?
You sure that you weren't making love to somebody that was just having sex? Yeah, see, that's
Have I?
No, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like, as women, they make love to men that are just...
Not exactly the fight I was expecting when we got here. At least we got the job done.
The men here were laborers. Someone must have been coordinating their efforts. I doubt they stuck around to fend off Darkspawn.
Here, babe. Let me get you a pillow. Come here.
Having sex.
Right.
That's the difference.
That's not the point.
But my thing is, okay, not all the time.
So I think when men hear that though, it's like if it was sacred to you, you would have waited till you were married.
But it's like right? No, I get that. But the reality is like the hardest for me to understand is like this is such a sacred thing, and it's just it's like taking a piss for a guy.
Can I just say something? You sure you weren't making love to somebody that was having sex?
I'm sorry?
You sure that you weren't making love to somebody that was just having sex?
Hey, auntie, that's
have I?
No, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like as women, they make love to men that are just having sex.
Right.
That's the difference.
That's not the point.
But my thing is, okay, not all the time.
So I think when men hear that though, it's like if it was sacred to you, you would have waited till you were married.
But it's like right, no, I get that, but the reality is that the world is not so black and white. So I understand that there are these things in place that worked and made sense, and now we're approaching an era that like we don't know what's going to happen, but there's gray area. You've had sex, I've had sex, she's had sex, we've had sex with different guys. That doesn't mean that we're damaged goods, we're used goods. I understand status is a big part of that. I understand that sex is viewed differently, but I feel like you should not. If you're looking at face value, I can understand why you would be judged from your past. But if I'm a guy interested in you, I don't care about what you've done.
But that's the thing. Like men do though. That's the thing. Like a virgin's more valuable to a man than a girl that's had sex with multiple men. Like it just is what it is.
There's a limit.
But the modern man's solution is not a virgin. A modern man needs a partner, somebody that's actually smart and can survive in the world of today. And that's going to be a little woman.
The men with the most choice are going to pick women that are more pure in general.
The ones that are already self-made, I guess so. But that's the thing. The reality is that there's a lot of men out there, especially in the world that we live in today, that need a partner. So it's time for those masses of men to start respecting women for the role they can play in their lives.
I don't think average men expect it.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
But it's this rhetoric that actually then is pumped into these minds and creates what people now complain about the misogynistic world.
No, do you know?
That's what it is. Even in schools, it's like permeated through it all and
Why is it
perpetuated.
misogynistic for men to prefer women that are more?
It's not that. It's not. That's not the problem. The problem is now. Listen, the maths is very simple. You've got people like Andrew Tate talking about these things with such clarity, and it makes so much sense because it is true, right? And then you have men that are in these situations where just average, working an average job, and they cannot fulfill whatever definition is called to be a man in these.
Yes, they can, and that's what he said. He did say that. Yes, they can. A 9 to 5 man can do it.
But then again, wait. This is the thing. What we're talking about as a man, and this is why I say it's very important for us to understand the person that we're speaking to. And I'm very glad that you clarified everything that you mean. Not every man is like Andrew Tate. Not every man is going to be able to even realistically demand for certain things from a woman. So the same way women need to compromise if it comes to a man who is going to cheat on her because he's a top G, is the same way men are going to have to compromise and stop blabbing about purity when they can't stand for that.
You didn't get none of what you didn't get none of what
I made my point. That was the whole point.
What point? Well, duh. What? Because you just quoted him. You just said about his thing and you didn't.
Did I get clout? I made my point. I said the average man does not have what it takes to demand for a virgin.
He already said that. He already said
and
that.
And I reiterated in my own words for my own content for my page.
Do you know what it is, right? Is that too many women, they see regular guys and they feel they're settling. You're not settling. You're getting what you deserve.
But you can't be asking.
You're not settling. You're not settling.
But the difference is men know this. Like most average men are.
The average men know what. The average men never say they want
But the difference. Wait. The difference is average men know they don't deserve a 10. They know they don't deserve an 8. They know they don't even deserve a 7.
And they still go messaging them on the stories and all this dumb stuff. It's just ugly.
Like most men in history haven't even reproduced. And so it's like men know, but the women are the ones that are delusional.
There's regular men out there. There's regular men out there.
Chris Hemsworth.
There's regular men out there that will have you down.
Yeah, but can I just say, people are watching Tate, not understanding that Tate is part of that 1% of and they think that they can demand the same thing.
No,
they can demand purity.
One second. Sorry. I understand the point you're all making, but let's understand something. To the sexual marketplace, females have always been, and still to a degree, are the gatekeepers. You can think about it in a very simplistic way. This is not the case, but let's simplify it for the sake of argument. Imagine men will run around and fuck anything, and women are the ones who say yes or no. You are the gatekeepers that have all the power. And this is what's actually truly interesting about the sexual marketplace, because whenever women go, there's not enough good men, then why are you fucking, of course, why would they be good if you don't make them be good? You're a fucking loser. So women, so you're talking about, I'm saying that, a man at a certain level can't do certain things, If you were with Joe Schmo and he wasn't treating you the way you believe Joe Schmo should treat you, then why are you with him?
Leave.
Like women have the gatekeeping. So if you get Joe Schmo and he treats you like you're his queen, treats you perfect, good. If you get a fucking guy at the absolute upper echelons of value and you still aren't happy with what he's giving you, then leave. Women are the gatekeepers. You women actually have all of the power. This is what's beautiful about the whole thing. Yeah. Women are constantly complaining. You have all the power. You're the ones who get to choose. You know who you should be mad at for all this shit? I'll tell you who it is. Do you know who freaks out all the female power in the sexual marketplace? Promiscuous females. Because now you got chicks who'll bang anybody without trying. So why should a dude get up and try?
No,
do you have any idea how hard it is to actually be, let me make this clear.
Go on, sir.
Do you have any idea how hard it is to actually be, no bullshit, a man? And I say this and women go, oh yeah, I do that. As soon as most women encounter any kind of problem, the first thing they do is turn to a man. Their man, their dad, the mechanic, the police, a man. If you actually put a woman in front of a problem and go, no men, they're like, oh whoa, fuck. It's a mental breakdown. Men, day after day, especially if they're a high-level man, let me make something clear from my life, from personal experience. I'm not just looking after me. I'm not just looking after my chick. I'm the guy in about 300 people's phone books that they call when anything big goes wrong. You get arrested in Russia, you need extraction from Ukraine, you need $1 million, whatever it is. Kazakhstan, I'm the fucking phone call. I'm fixing 400 different lines. I'm a problem solver. Chicks can't fix fucking any of this shit, right? This is how hard it is to be a man. And it's amazing because society expects it of you, but so do women. If you were a man, be honest. You were a man and you went to your man and said, oh, I've got this problem, I can't fix this, it's broken, the car tire's broken. And he went, I don't know. You would dry up, you'd be like, well, what the fucking point are you? That's the truth. You could say, oh, call a mechanic. No, you wouldn't. You'd look at your man and go, what do you mean you can't fix it? And this is what she's saying about your man will get up and go, and you know what's beautiful about masculinity? A bunch of times a man will go up and he doesn't have a clue what to say. But he'll go, don't worry, baby, okay. And he'll stand up with no money and no clue, and he'll go out there and fucking try and find a way, because as a man, you need to be useful. It is so difficult to be a man. You have no idea the amount of pressure that we're under from society and from the women we even want to associate with. On a whole, it's difficult. Should we keep all these things in mind? It's hard.
But can I ask you see what you just said about, the top G, that if that money you can fly planes and fly that. Drop it down to if you were earning, say, 50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Couldn't you be that same person amongst your peers?
100% you
That's
could.
what I'm trying to say.
100% you could. And also you have to...
money doesn't make you a top G.
No, money is an amplifier. So that's the first thing about money. Money amplifies. Men can make money, money does not make men. If you're a dork and you get rich, you're a rich dork. If you're a G and you get rich, you're a top G. Right? So that's the first thing about money. And I agree with you. But traditionally... And this is the baseline, and once again, when I say these things, I'm not looking to be attacked for being misogynist. I'm just commenting on how I view the world and how I see things. Traditionally, a man, primarily, gives his attention to a female to get sex, and she gives him sex back to get the attention. That's the swap, right? So, if I'm a dude and I want sex from a girl, I give her attention, I talk to her, I hang out with her, I spend time with her, eventually I get the sex. That's how it works. But the higher value you are as a man, the more valuable your attention is, the more valuable your time is, the less you have to give. It's like potency, right? So I can give 5 minutes to a chick, and that's worth 2 weeks of some other dude's time. But that's the reality. So where you are on the scale is just basically how much of your time you have to give. Now, you can still give all your time to a woman, treat her like a queen, be respected by your peers. She can be happy with you. I'm not saying she will be any... In fact, I'll argue she'll be happier with that man than she'll be with a fucking guy like me. I'm not even out here saying I'll make chicks happy. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that She'll get the amount of time that she's going to want from that man. The amount of attention is linked to his status. But at a truly high-level status of man, it's 2 DMs. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
This kind of leads into my next question.
Alright guys, let's take a second to hear from our channel sponsor. Florida cops are searching for 2 young women who stole a $25,000 Rolex after a male companion fell asleep during a late-night rendezvous at his condo. According to the Broward County Sheriff's Office, the man picked up the women from outside a bar down the street and drove them to serve a cocktail. Though the man later fell asleep, his conniving companions remained on high alert. When the man woke up, the pair were missing, along with his Rolex watch and his credit card. Situations like this are happening all over the world, and you have to be on high alert to protect yourself. One way to protect yourself from identity theft is with Virtual Shield 1. It monitors banking, retirement, and investment institutions for potential data breaches. Dark web scans, social security protection with 24/7 alerts, and can protect you and your family with up to a $1 million insurance policy. Virtual Shield 1 also includes free access to Virtual Shield, industry-leading VPN with unlimited VPN access and advanced VPN Plus features to keep your internet and cell phone browsing activity anonymous and private. This service also includes malware and ad blocking. With a 30-day free trial and 67% off this holiday season, what do you have to lose? I use it myself and love how it makes me feel safe by protecting my identity and keeping my browsing history anonymous. Just click the link below or simply visit virtualshield.com/Pearly. That's www.virtualshield.com/Pearly. And protect your identity today. Remember, supporting my sponsor helps support the channel. Thank you guys again.
Do women prefer to be monogamous with a low-value man or share a high-value man?
Well, look at society, and you tell me.
Ask me.
Wait, so let's ask the single ladies. What would you prefer?
I would prefer someone who's monogamous. I left a situation where I got the Bentley, I had all that, I had the kids, I had that. That was great. I want a companion, I want real love, and to me, what monogamy means to me is someone who's committed to themselves. That's like, the answer is within you, and to be honest, I feel like, again, like, the sex has been lost in translation and what it means. I don't care if man or female, it's been lost, as it's so sacred. So, for me, I have kind of taken those blinders off where I'm like, okay, he has to be here. I'm okay with dating the trainer in Austin, Texas. That's just where I'm at. Like, I don't need a certain thing because I know what I'm wanting. Most guys in that percentage are not going to give me. So I would rather have a monogamous man than someone who can do whatever.
So you think the personal trainer is going to be monogamous? They're like known for cheating, no?
Well, I mean, here's my thing. Like, I get it. Like, I don't generalize people because I'm one of the most misunderstood people online as well, and I feel like there's a lot more to me, and I don't like to just put everyone in a box. I'd like to get to know people. So no, I'm not gonna just say, oh, of course he's gonna cheat on me. Like, no.
Okay. Would you take a guy that makes $35,000 a year and had a dad bod?
Had a dad bod?
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I would want someone who.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I pour into myself, and I'm accountable for my shit. I'm aware of what I got going on. I'm not gonna have a mom bod. I'm in the gym. I had a baby a year and a half ago. I'm in the gym 4 to 5 times a week. So I would want someone who can match at least the work ethic. Now, when it comes to money, I know for me, I want to be able to. I do not want to rely on a man. I have literally done that before. It didn't pan out in my favor, okay? Because what happens is you get the rug ripped from under you, and then now you fucking get out, bitch. Give me the motherfucking keys. It isn't that. So for me, the lifestyle I want, I am responsible for. So I don't look for a man to make X amount of dollars because anything that I want, I'm gonna get myself.
Well, because in my head, I feel like a guy's just as likely to cheat if he's in the top 20% of like looks. Just as likely as money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't.
Let me ask a quick question, just so I can clarify something, because I understand your points. You're saying you want a partner, a life partner. Are you sure? And I'm not accusing. I'm genuinely asking. Are you sure you're not confusing the amount of time the man spends with you with his monogamy? Because they're different things. Because what happens a lot of the time, if a man's out here chasing chicks, he's barely home. But imagine you had a man who was home 7 nights a week. He was always home. I'm talking about like an hour. Like during his work lunch, you don't even notice. Then would you even give a shit about monogamy if you had all of his time effectively? Would you really care?
I still would care because I feel like that's still just an hour a day. It's not really quality time. I really have been in so many different situations. Again, the trainer in Austin to the NBA player baby daddy. Like I have seen all of that stuff. And it's just my personal experience and perspective to where I want someone that sees the value in the Grand Canyon. I want somebody who...
Okay, so that's a good point, and so I'll just ask the first question, I'm going to ask the second.
Okay.
The realization you've come to is an interesting one. It is something that happens, especially to females as they mature. Don't you think it's strange, or why do you think that 0 women on Earth choose those kind of men who perhaps have slightly lower status but are more likely to be loyal to them, be monogamous, etc.? In the modern world, like I said, the world's changed. Why do you think 0 women choose them when they're at the peak of their choices? So when a woman is 19 and she can go anywhere she wants, every man wants her, she can go on any yacht in Miami, she can get thrown out to Dubai when she has all the choices in the world. Why is she completely uninterested in those kind of men? And then when she gets to a certain age of maturity and there's a whole new generation of girls who have all the choices, then they sit there and go, you know what? I deserve monogamy and da-da, and they all of a sudden want to grow up and mature. Why does no woman decide that when she actually is at her most valuable?
I feel like I said, I don't like to speak for all women or just speak for myself, but I know for me that I was looking for a man for a lifestyle, something that I was not able to do individually by myself. So that's why it's like, well, yeah, I want to be able to do this, do that. I want to go for the football player that was just on GQ. And in reality, now I realize, well, okay, there's a lot that comes with that. I can make my own money. I don't necessarily need that type of guy for the happiness that I'm looking for. Again, seeing value in the Grand Canyon is a lot different than like, okay, here's money for this, here's allowance for that.
And that's the same thing as you asking why a man that is 20, 21, 23 is not a top G, like a 30, 40-year-old man. Your age actually dictates your sort of maturity to a large extent.
Well, I'm arguing the point. The point I'm trying to make is that what I actually think happens, especially in the modern world, because the modern world's all fucked up and nothing's the way it's supposed to be, the traditional life path of a female is she's 17, she's 18, she's 19, and her value is massively inflated. And I don't blame her. Of course it's massively inflated. Imagine being 19 years old, have achieved exactly fucking 0 in your life, knowing nothing. You put makeup on, and sports stars, billionaires, actors, the most important famous people on the planet, the richest men on the planet are begging for your attention. The ego you're going to develop, let's all be honest, right? The ego you're going to develop is going to be monu-fucking-mental. I'm special, I'm so gorgeous, all this bullshit, right? And then what happens as they grow older, as new generations come along, because the truth is most women are at their peak attraction, let's say in their early 20s. As they grow older, what women become is far more fearful of competition. This is why you'll see a woman who's a bit older go, oh, you know, I really want monogamy. What she's scared of is her dude getting a 21-year-old. That's what she's fucking scared of. She may not know it, she may not say it, but basically that's what the truth is, because she knows a 21-year-old is going to be more desirable, higher status, more fertile. That's what she's scared of.
Cheating is bad when you're 30 or 27.
So no, but it's not about that. I'm telling you the shift in the female mentality, because when a female is 20, she doesn't give a fuck about any of this. She doesn't want to find a nice man. Now she's trying to, like you're saying, chasing a lifestyle, chasing Mr. Promiscuous, chasing Mr. Famous. Doesn't give a shit until she starts getting scared. Oh shit. Oh, my age begins with 3 now. And then they change, the mentality changes. It's a fear element. That's the reality. And it's a biological fear element. I'll give you an example of it. You know what's amazing about humans? We are still very primal. When men like these two and me, when we walk through the mall, people just move. It's like you can sense when the big animals turn up, right? It's something amazing about humans. If you have a very attractive 45-year-old woman, she's gorgeous, but a gorgeous 19-year-old walks in, look at that 45-year-old woman's face. She's furious. She fucking hates her. She just doesn't like her for no reason. Because women understand, unfortunately, but your age is a massive indicator of your value. In an inverse way to men, men are more valuable as we get older. Every woman knows that. Every woman will sit here and go, yeah, well, I know a man who's older than me. Of course. But if I say the other way around, I'm misogynistic. It's just the reality of the world. So then we have to go to the other point. The point is this. When you were at your peak value, you had 0 interest in monogamy. But then you find a man who's 35, at his peak value, he's finally struggled and worked, because when he was 19, no girl spoke to him. When he was 23, he was broke. When he was 24, he had no life experience. When he was 25, he couldn't fuck. When he was 20, whatever. He finally gets to the point where he's now at his peak value. Him at 35 is you when you were 19. And then you're sitting there saying to him, no, you should be monogamous. It's like, well, you fucking were. You did whatever you wanted in your peak. Now I'm finally got there, and I had to work for my shit. God gave you, God and L'Oreal gave you. I had to fucking struggle. I had to go through hell to get on this yacht. You go on the yacht with an Instagram DM. I had to buy it. And now you're telling me I need to fucking settle down and behave and grow up? Fuck you.
Because
it's bullshit.
You're assuming that the journey is a man that starts with nothing to something, because there's a lot of men
that
that
is exactly the journey of every man on earth. We are born without
so there's specificity in that.
Can I just
because that's not how it should be for everybody. That's not how it is for everybody, and not for every woman either. As well, may I just say?
You know, like, but then you've learnt in the past. And now you want to find someone to settle down. With hindsight now, would you have reversed it and like started young, looking for someone to settle down with, looking for those values that now you know? I'm talking that with hindsight.
Okay, well, I actually, from 18 to 22, I was in a relationship. I've always actually been a lover girl, despite what I put out online for, you know,
I've never seen you online.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, that's even better. I have always wanted one person, and I feel like I was so delusional in thinking that, oh, I'm like you said, like I have value, I'm beautiful, I'm this, I'm at my peak. Like, why wouldn't you want to be with me? So, going into these relationships, or just like just people. My goal was always to get commitment. Like, I'm giving my time. I'm pouring into because I want commitment. And the reality is I never really understood my value. So I was going through guys, giving up sex, doing this, and it didn't make sense. So I believe in, like, I stand on everything I do. Like, I don't do apology tours. It is what it is. And I think that's where I feel like when they talk about women being delusional and all these other things, it is true. Because what you have to understand is that there are repercussions to your decision, which is fine. So then you're talking about, okay, well, I want this type of guy, I want this, that, and that. You're talking about maybe monogamy. That's 3 to 5% of animals are monogamous. I think that's what it is, right? So your window is really, really small for what you're looking for. And even to go on to the point you said where you're talking about it's like a subconscious fear, I think it's like, for me, I feel like if it was more of a fear, I would have just stayed in my situation. Like, it wouldn't have made sense. Like, I mean, that was my first kid. I thought I waited and did it, right? I left because I believe it. There's something else on my heart when it comes to love, and I'm just going to have to trust that. And if that means being alone, having a dog, I have to take that chance, because the Bentley, the ring, the house, and still getting, again, deceived, right? Disrespected, because deceit is disrespect, right? So I cannot settle for that. I can't suck a dick and shut up. And that is where a lot of people don't like my views and what I represent, because it is something new. I don't know how it's gonna fucking end. I don't know what's gonna happen.
What would you tell your 17, if you had to, like, what would you tell your 17-year-old self, knowing what you know now? Looking back, and you had to meet yourself at 17, what would you tell what would you tell yourself? Like, lock it down and wait for the right man, don't have sex. What would you tell your 17-year-old self?
That the answers aren't outside of you, because I feel like I'd always look for men to answer all of my questions that I've ever had. I thought when I had a man, it would complete me, and I feel like too, especially with like my dad not being in my life, you look for somebody to guide me. Like, so that's where for me, I put too much value in someone else having the answers for me. So that's why I'm really big on accountability. So I would just tell myself, like, to be patient, to take your time, because I was always quick. Oh, let's try to get in a relationship. Like, we weren't even compatible. There's a lot of just not compatible factors. So I feel like for me, it would be to slow down and to really get to know people, instead of just blindly banking on potential that most likely will never be tapped into, or selling myself short because there's a fear of, well, I don't know, this could be the best that I could get. I might as well just shut up and suck it in.
And that's what I meant about women nowadays, because exactly what you'd be telling your 17-year-old self is what happened back in the day. So when I'm repeating these things, I'm going, oh, you're old-fashioned, but it seems like women do what they like, and then they hit a certain age and say, oh, well, I've got to settle. But it's not settling, you're just getting whatever you can.
You know,
or whatever you deserve.
You know what?
Because if you think back now, you'd be telling people now, rather than say that auntie's old-fashioned or auntie don't know what she's talking about, look what she be telling her 17-year-old self, which ain't nothing that I ain't already said.
Yeah,
because really and truly, let me finish. Because what I've always said, and you can check, I'm an older version of you. So where you've been, I've already been and I've come back. So that's why I asked you, what would you tell your 17-year-old self? Because me telling you is, I'm telling my 30-year-old self. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So it's not that I'm old-fashioned, it's just that women hit a certain age and then realise, oh my God, it wasn't that old-fashioned. You know, it works. Because it does. But there's no point in waiting till you're a certain age to start thinking about it. You know, even if you're like, you hold your own accountability. So it's like if you meet somebody and they were like 17, 18 and you saw them acting a certain way, they ask you for advice, you won't say do as I do. You say, listen, this is what happened to me and this is what I thought and what I recommend you do is blah blah blah. Am I right or am I wrong? And I ask you for your advice.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Like, I totally agree with that. I think that no matter what you decide to do, you have to accept whatever repercussions come behind that. So any advice that I give to anybody is do what you want, but just know there are repercussions, good, bad, or indifferent, that are going to come behind it. So, I mean, and I think that's just where I'm at. I don't even think it's like an age thing. I think it's like, in reality, I have a son, and you really start asking yourself questions. And again, I hate that it took having a child to really look into my life and call myself out on my bullshit.
So if you got pregnant earlier, if you got pregnant at 18, 19, would it?
I was always on birth control. Okay. I was on birth control for a decade. I got off birth control because the person I was with learned to have a baby. Okay. So again, I thought I did it right. Clearly not, because I wasn't married, but it still didn't work out because it just wasn't my guy. So that's where I just think, like, even if I still would have taken it slow, there just were a lot of people that just were genuinely not my person, and that's okay.
I would just
speaking of marriage, I wanted to know, do you think we're in a post-marriage society? Because on one hand, we hear that women should wait till they're married to have sex, but at the same time, we also hear from the men that they don't want to get married anymore. So what do we do with that?
Seems like it's true, because nowadays a lot of people are looking at marriage as a contract rather than a partnership. And there's a huge difference between that, because with a contract, there's so many terms and many headaches and this and that. And
well, it is a contract.
Well, that's why. Yeah. But that's because that is what it is now. Because realistically, the traditional sense of marriage is a contract, really, in terms of the law. Once the law is involved, that's when everything went tits up, I think.
Yeah. So the problem is that there's zero advantage to marriage in the Western world front. There is zero statistical advantage. If you use your mind, if you use your head instead of your heart, and you look at the advantages of getting married, there are absolutely not really none. Because this new idea of New Age feminism just basically destroys all men in the idea of it, in the event of her leaving. And it's very common that women leave, right? Let's stop the man versus woman attack, etc., etc. Life's difficult for everybody. We all have different challenges, different things to go through. But if a woman marries a man and it goes wrong, she has emotional heartbreak, fine. But if a man marries a woman and it goes wrong, he has emotional heartbreak. Plus, everything he has ever worked for is ripped out from underneath him, and he has to give that chick money forever.
In some places, you don't even have to be married.
Exactly.
That's why the men don't want to live with the women either.
That's right. So when you make these rules and these laws, right, under the guise of feminism and equality, all this garbage, all you're doing is scaring men away from commitment. And then you have to add in the other hidden element, and the other hidden element is what I said earlier, is whose fault a lot of this is promiscuous women, right? So when society is broken down, if women were saying, if all women got together and said, we'll only have sex after marriage, guess what men would do? Get married. But you don't, right? So now you're in Miami, I go to Miami, I can fuck anything in the club, I don't have to marry any of them. If I marry them, I get wrecked. So, like, let's all use our brains here. What am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna be like, well, no. Bounce, see ya, no. So men have been scared away from the idea of marriage, and that's a lot of that is the fault of this new bullshit law, this new feminism, this new crap. They don't give men any tactical advantage. And I'm talking about small things. A man's not even allowed to be a man in his own house. You know, in England, you get accused of emotional abuse. I can marry a woman, not lay a hand on her. I can just raise my voice at her. That's emotional abuse. I can raise my voice at her because she's going out drinking with dudes. She can go out drinking 6 nights a week with men. And I can say, what the fuck, you're my wife, sit down. She can call the cops, call me emotionally abusive. I get arrested now. Now there's a court case against me. I have to go to court and defend myself. She'll divorce me, take my house. I have to sell my car because she's drinking vodka with fucking God knows who.
But you know,
what do you think of child support?
And that's another interesting thing, because a lot of these arguments, it goes beyond man and woman, and it goes into the larger sphere as a whole, right? Because we talked earlier about war and how a lot of men used to die, and that doesn't happen anymore. So what you used to have in societies, and I'm not saying I have all the answers, I'm just commenting, right? What you used to have in societies is a bunch of men would die at war, because men have more dangerous lives than women. There'd be a bunch more women than men. The top G's would impregnate a bunch of women, and the top G's could take care of the women, and that'd be it, et cetera, et cetera. That's now changed, right? So a lot of the reason that monogamy is pushed is because it's good for society. And it is good for society. It's good for society as a whole to have a man, a woman, a family, they're together, the man provides for the woman, etc. The government doesn't want to pay for all these kids. If you don't have child support, who's paying for these kids? The government does it. It breaks down, right? So that's why child support is enforced in many parts of the world. In certain other parts of the world, child support isn't enforced because they have religious beliefs or genuine family beliefs that keep the families together. But in the Western world, now you need child support because you've broken things down to the point where men don't want to be married to chicks. Chicks don't want to listen to the man. The man can't even be the man in his own household. He can't even feel respected where he goes. His woman gives him no status. And now he doesn't want to fucking deal with her anymore. So how do you get that kid paid for? Well, then tell the man, or you go to jail. And you just come along with the fucking long arm of the law and you fuck him. And so, yeah, it's difficult. It's hard to answer. Yeah, but it's hard to answer. The true answer to all of it is an idealistic answer. I don't like to think idealistically. You talk idealistically, but it's the truth. The true answer to it is to instill in the man a sense of duty in which he wants to take care of his woman regardless, because that's his child. But you will do that. I'll tell you how you do that. You do that by inspiring out the man by being a very good woman. So I'll give you an example. If I had a child with a woman, and she was always a great woman to me. She never cheated on me. She was a good woman to me. And I was running around doing whatever. And she's like, look, I just can't put up with you anymore. You're top G. You're going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to look after your kid. You can see him anytime you want. I care about you. Please don't leave me in public. I'd say, cool. 100%. I'm not a fucking dickhead. Cool.
But that's a real man, though, because I was in a situation I was just in a situation like that to where it's like...
It's hard to answer. Yeah, but it's hard to answer. The true answer to all of it. It's hard to answer. Yeah, but it's hard to answer. The true answer to all of it is an idealistic answer. I don't like to think idealistically and talk idealistically, but it's the truth. The true answer to it is to instill in the man a sense of duty in which he wants to take care of his woman regardless, because that's his child. But you will do that. I'll tell you how you do that. You do that by inspiring out of the man by being a very good woman. So I'll give you an example. If I had a child with a woman, and she was always a great woman to me. She never cheated on me. She was a good woman to me. And I was running around being whatever. And she's like, look, I just can't put up with you anymore. You're top G. You're going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to look after your kid. You can see him anytime you want. I care about you. Please don't leave me in poverty. I'd say, cool. 100%. I'm not a fucking dickhead. Cool,
that's a real man though, because I was in a situation I was just in a situation like that to where it's like hearts don't break even, and that's the reality too. It's like if those morals and principles are not instilled in a man, none of that shit matters. So obviously the child support stuff obviously hits close home to me because I'm already $50,000 just in lawyer fees trying to get him to provide. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it sucks because it's like you play in the NBA, like why don't you want to do more? And it's just because again of the relationship. It's personal. It's not about our son.
That's right.
So it's like if you're not.
So I just feel like it's like, why do you get money for making a poor choice?
Well, it wasn't a poor choice because it took two.
I'm not trying to like disrespect you in any way. It's just like if you left. And
no,
so it's like, why do you get money for it? It just
right because we made a commitment. So we made at the end of the day we made a commitment. We have a forever commitment. Fuck marriage. We are forever family. Right. So again, as someone who is literally going through this, if I made more money than him, I would be paying him child support, and that would be fair to me.
But this is what's really interesting. What's truly interesting is if you go to other countries, and I'm talking about civilized countries, right? If you go to Poland or Czech Republic or whatever, these countries, which are in many metrics more civilized than the West, they're safer to live in, they're cleaner, etc. There's no child support laws. So if you have a divorce, the man just takes care of the woman because that's his kid, and that's just what he's supposed to do, and that's just it. So what you're saying is, you're right about the man having the morality instilled inside of them, and my point is that the reason a lot of this doesn't exist, the reason men don't have morality installed in them, is not just about the individual case of the man. It's about society as a whole. It's about women as a whole, men as a whole, the dating game as a whole, the life he's living as a whole, and this is the world we live in. This is why I was talking about how dangerous new think is, because now we have this new think, this new world.